All right, what's up, everybody? It's Will with Schedulefly, and I'm excited to be here at Zeppelin South End in Charlotte, North Carolina today. I'm speaking with Vince Giancarlo, who is executive chef and co-owner here. And Vince, I know we're on a quick time frame, so we'll dive right in, man. Thanks for doing this today.
I appreciate it, man. Always a pleasure. And again, I apologize for this short period of time, but that's
all right, man. We got 15 minutes.
Yeah.
We're going to make this happen.
Right
So tell me, you've had a good diverse background in hospitality. I know you went to Johnston Wells here in Charlotte, and you've worked in a lot of really great places, worked with a lot of great operators. Let's talk about Zeppelin. Tell me this. I read the backstory of Zeppelin and how it got its name and everything. Just tell me a little bit about this. It's a cool place.
The ethos is kind of that of the turn of the century, 1900s. There was a lot of industrialism in Charlotte. So it's a time period where we wanted to kind of capture, the feel and the excitement and the kind of renaissance that was going on. And, we relate it to nowadays. I think we're kind of close to that in the F&B industry in Charlotte. We have this awesome push for local and sustainable businesses, independent restaurants really taking a chef-driven standard and moving forward in that direction and trying to support the community and agriculture and all of that. So it's a bit of a culinary renaissance now. And then the 1900s also, the name Zeppelin, that's when the blimp itself actually came to the United States. It was like 1901. And we had Thomas Edison and Edward Dilworth Latta here in Charlotte doing a ton of, industrial revolution type stuff and harnessing electricity and separating gold from soil. And not to mention, it's the golden age of cocktails before Prohibition when everybody could make whatever they wanted. So it just made a lot of sense to kind of encapsulate that time period. And so the Zeppelin was a good representation of the era itself.
How long have you been here?
We're about a year and 2 months in. Our official grand opening was January 5th last year.
Okay.
Just over a year and a couple months.
Okay. I've heard a lot of great things. I haven't been here yet, but I've heard great things about what you're doing.
Yeah, we got to get you in the door.
Yeah, for sure. So, and how is it going so far?
It's going really well, man. I mean, like every small business, you have hurdles in the beginning, and restaurants are historically expensive to open, and so you're fighting that in the beginning. But if you put your best foot forward, try to return guests. A year in, things definitely start to settle. You start to see a little bit at the light at the end of the tunnel, and all the hard work paying off. And we're definitely there now. It feels really good going into the spring months and having a good first quarter behind us. And it's really fun to be able to do what we want with food now and have a little bit of leadway as far as the product we can bring in and those kind of things. So, progression, I think, for us is the key moving forward, and to make sure that every day we're doing something new and different and trying to innovate and push the boundaries and help the tide rise in Charlotte, because that's what I think this is all about for our city, is just chefs getting behind each other, supporting each other, pushing each other, being collaborative and looking for a turn to a more culinary-based city that people want to come and bounce around different restaurants, try different things, different cocktail bars. So we're on the straight and narrow now. It feels good to be doing what we do and being rewarded with it and being rewarded from it and being recognized. And like you said, we've definitely been lucky enough to have a lot of things written about us and good publicity and stuff like that. So just trying to ride that wave and keep it going, keep the momentum up.
Talk about the culinary scene in Charlotte. I mean, and it doesn't have a real strong history of that. Johnston Wells being here certainly has helped, but I mean, it's new, changing rapidly.
Yeah, it's new and changing. And I am a JWU grad. I completed the 4-year program here, bachelor's, all that, and I came out I moved to the city in 2005, graduated college in 2009. And since then, it's only been up and up for the industry. And JWU has helped, CPCC has helped, the Art Institute has helped, and we've got a good pool at this point of labor, of good quality cooks that seem to want to be in Charlotte and kind of make a name for themselves here and grow with the city. So
you do have a good pool of labor. I mean, labor is a tough thing, and I hear maybe it's more front of house. I hear labor can also be a real big challenge.
Well, so I say the word good. We'd love it to be great, but we end up. You would think with the amount of students coming out that we could retain a good bit of them, but you do get a lot of kids that end up going to larger cities, bigger cities known for food, or resort cities or cruise lines. And so, we end up trying to find the ones that are passionate, that do want to stay, and kind of harness that. So I say good because it's not, we're not fishing at the bottom of the barrel, but there's always room for improvement. And the hope is that as the city gains more popularity as a food city, then we start to retain more of those students coming out of school. I think that'll be a big part of like I've been saying, kind of turning the tide, rising with it. So. You
talk about the local chefs pushing each other and collaborating. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I mean, we've got a lot of pretty big name chefs in the city at this point, people that have gotten a lot of recognition, and I think one of the keys to success is making sure that those individuals are progressing in their own right, but also pushing boundaries so that the chefs around them feel a bit of that pressure, because we all definitely thrive under pressure a bit, put our best work out under pressure often. So to have somebody doing something great and others around them with the capability of doing the same thing, it just kind of continues to raise the bar. And the more we raise the bar, the more credit we're going to get for being the food city we all want to be. And you've seen publications in the last couple of years that have said that we're growing as a food city. So I think it's paying off. But for me, it's collaboration above competition. Chefs should look at it as, let's work together to make this thing everything it can be.
Well, everybody benefits if Charlotte becomes more known as a culinary city.
Exactly. And I look
at what's happening in Charleston.
Right, 100%. Asheville as well. I mean, it's just a bunch of really great chefs rallying around each other.
Yep. Raleigh also.
Yeah, and we're there. Trust me, there's plenty of us in this city that love that aspect of the business and want to be a catalyst for that kind of movement. So it's just a matter of maintaining at this point and continuing to do that so that we can continue to push forward and progress.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What's been the biggest challenge over the last year?
Oh, for me specifically right here, a lot of this construction has kept us, I think, from being as successful as we could be, mostly because, the city's growing at such a rapid rate that you still have ungentrified areas surrounded by very gentrified areas, and as the city grows out, you tend to see more construction building up on the fringes, and we kind of sit on a fringe, so there's always construction going on. So as these new businesses are developed and finished and opened, I think a lot of this starts to become more of an epicenter for Charlotte rather than a construction zone, and that's when we'll see a lot of the a lot more foot traffic probably at night, even potentially during the day for lunch and whatnot. But definitely when it gets later, you look down our street, it can look kind of rough. But it's basically construction. So as that starts to come together, then everything else should just follow suit.
Yeah. Parking's a little challenging around here, isn't it?
Parking's challenging in Charlotte.
Parking's challenging in Charlotte everywhere. Yeah, it really is. It really is. But look, that says a lot. I mean, I know folks have come from all over town that have come and they've found a way to park and get here because you have a great reputation.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. So the food. You've got a stout bar program there. I can tell.
We do. Yeah. For me, the bar is kind of a fresh new avenue for me to approach flavor profiling and cross-utilization, which I think is awesome. I didn't really have that in any of the other establishments that I've kind of run or been a part of in the past. So to have the ability to work with bartenders and create cocktails based around the seasonal ingredients we're using in the kitchen to gain 100% yield or close to, or using whole products instead of just what everybody uses, like.
What's an example of that?
Well, good example would be, last spring we had some green almonds in. We weren't sure what to do with the rinds. We knew we wanted to pickle the almonds themselves, and so they have these hard casings on them. And so we just said, all right, let's try this, and we dehydrated it and made a little tincture out of it, which is basically a maceration of alcohol with a dried ingredient, and it produced this awesome kind of like dark chocolatey, malty
that's cool.
Addition that you can drop into a drink and change the total flavor profile, and it's using an ingredient that would be thrown in the trash otherwise.
Right.
So it's things like that, using the shell of a butternut to do something similar, using the seeds of a butternut to make a pesto of sorts, things like that, just trying to approach it with as little waste in mind as possible, and then figuring out what you can do with we'll call them the nasty bits of any ingredient. We have one of our most popular cocktails actually is a Wagyu washed bourbon old fashioned, and that was just born of having a good amount of Wagyu fat sitting around when we trimmed for tartars or steak dishes. So we rendered that down, clarified it, and then stirred it into whiskey, which is washing, and then let it freeze and separate back out. So you end up with a seasoned whiskey product using an otherwise wasted fat byproduct of beef. So it's cool. It's a cool way to approach things.
Very creative. I have a buddy who had that and mentioned that. Yeah.
It's a big. If you cover anything in smoke and present it and unveil it in front of guests, it becomes insta famous right away. And so we hit jackpot with that one for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, man. Well, I know these your guys here.
Possibly. There's always guys. It's okay.
There's always something going on, isn't there?
There's always somebody.
Yeah. Well, just one more thing. So I know it's early. You've been here just over a year or whatever. But does your group plan to?
We're not
other concepts.
Yeah, we're not looking to be a one-trick pony. We're definitely trying to plant maybe one more flag in South End before expanding outside this neighborhood. And I'd imagine the concept would be on the same scale but vastly different. And I have a couple of ideas already for what we could potentially execute, but it comes down to finding the right space. There are new spaces just about every day that open up here, but it's about so much of being successful in this industry is starting with a good location and knowing your demographic. So we're doing that research right now. We're hopeful maybe by the end of year 2 to have a spot that we're pursuing, and then maybe midway through year 3 start some construction on something, but we're not rushing it. You know what I mean? We got a good thing going here, and there is no real rush. I don't think there's plenty of room for growth in Charlotte, so we're looking at it like a one step at a time, one foot in front of the other. And but yeah, we have the ambition is not to be a one-trick pony. We want to have a small restaurant group that starts here and potentially even expands outside of the Charlotte area.
Yeah, for sure. Good, man. Love it.
Yes, sir.
Inspiring talking to you, my friend.
I appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
A pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you as well.
For sure.
We'll call that a wrap. All right. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
See you.